In October, as the temperature drops sharply, a large bear walks slowly and deliberately into a small den and curls up completely alone for the long winter that lies ahead of it. For the next 5 to 7 full months of this remarkable biological state, it does not eat a single thing, does not drink a single drop of water, does not urinate at all. Its heart rate steadily and gradually drops from around 50 beats per minute, which is normal for a bear, all the way down to just 8 beats per minute. The bear curled up deep inside the den is genuinely massive, utterly still, eyes fully closed. The surrounding quiet is genuinely total. 7 long, entirely silent months later, sometime in the following spring of April or May, it simply gets up and walks calmly back outside. And here's what makes this whole biological process genuinely remarkable. The bear is not significantly weaker than it was 7 months before. Its muscles have barely wasted away at all during this entire long time. Its bones have not thinned in any measurable way at all. It is very hungry, but structurally completely intact. A typical human being who stayed lying flat in bed for 7 straight months would emerge afterward with severe, clinically measurable muscle loss. Significant bone density loss would inevitably follow close behind. Organ dysfunction too, in many documented clinical cases. Months of intense rehabilitation just to walk normally again. The bear, quite remarkably, experiences none of this whatsoever. It simply walks out of the den and begins hunting again within just a few short days. How does the bear actually manage this remarkable feat? What is really happening inside that body during those 7 long, completely silent months? First, let's very carefully establish what hibernation actually is, biologically speaking. It is not simply ordinary sleep, merely extended and made somewhat deeper. It is a fundamentally different metabolic state altogether, called torpor, a controlled, entirely voluntary and fully reversible bodily shutdown of major systems. In the months leading directly up to hibernation each year, the bear eats compulsively and almost constantly, up to 20,000 calories every single day. This particular biological period is scientifically termed hyperphagia. The bear is not really storing food externally, somewhere else. It is storing itself directly, entirely. Once fully settled deep in torpor, its overall metabolic rate drops down to roughly just a quarter of its normal waking level baseline activity. It burns roughly 4,000 calories every single day throughout the entire hibernation period, drawing entirely from its own carefully stored fat reserves alone. No protein is consumed at all during this long winter period. No muscle is ever broken down for raw energy, just fat, burned slowly and steadily over time. Now here is the genuine underlying puzzle sitting at the heart of all this. Immobility alone, entirely on its own, should still cause dramatic, measurable muscle loss. Humans reliably and quite predictably lose measurable muscle mass after just 2 or 3 weeks of simple bed rest alone, without any other underlying cause. The bear, somehow, does not lose significant muscle mass at all during this entire long time. The real question is exactly how it manages to avoid that fate. During torpor specifically, very particular hormones circulate throughout the body and actively suppress the pathways that would normally break muscle tissue down. The muscles themselves are effectively placed under a kind of biochemical lock during this entire period, carefully maintained, but simply never consumed for fuel. Roughly every 2 weeks throughout the entire hibernation period, the bear cycles briefly through a slightly lighter state of torpor, gently stimulating its own muscle fibers. Not movement of any physical kind whatsoever, and not real activity at all. Just a quiet internal maintenance signal that actively prevents muscular atrophy from ever setting in. Bone density is the second major puzzle worth considering here, carefully. Immobile humans lose bone mass rapidly and quite measurably within just a few short months. Bears in hibernation, by striking and genuine contrast, do not lose any bone density at all whatsoever. Some studies actually suggest it may even increase slightly instead. Both the underlying bone formation and bone breakdown processes increase simultaneously during hibernation, with bone formation ultimately winning out slightly overall each time. The bear's body, quite remarkably, is quietly and continuously rebuilding bone tissue, even while it sleeps its way slowly through the entire long winter. Then there is the urea problem specifically, which may genuinely be the single strangest and most surprising part of this entire remarkable biological system at work. Every single mammal alive on Earth produces urea as protein naturally breaks down inside the body, and it is normally and continuously expelled through urine. A hibernating bear, quite remarkably, produces absolutely no urine whatsoever for the entire 7-month period, none at all for the entire full duration. In virtually any other mammal alive anywhere on Earth, urea would rapidly accumulate to genuinely toxic levels within just a matter of days. In the bear's own body, urea does genuinely accumulate too, just as would normally be expected, but it never actually becomes toxic at all. Here is exactly why. Very specific bacteria living quietly inside the bear's own gut break the urea molecule down into nitrogen and its various other useful component parts. Those resulting nitrogen components are then reabsorbed directly back into the bloodstream and used to rebuild fresh, functional muscle protein. The original waste product of protein breakdown, quietly and rather elegantly, becomes the essential raw material for entirely new protein rebuilding. This is a genuinely closed-loop biochemical recycling system, running entirely and continuously inside the bear's own body, completely unaided by anything from the outside world. No external protein source whatsoever is involved in this entire process. No food at all. Just an internal loop that quietly stops what should be genuinely toxic. Researchers scattered all around the world have been studying this exact biological mechanism since at least the 1990s, with real scientific urgency and interest. The muscle preservation signals themselves are being actively and quite seriously investigated for potentially treating muscle-wasting diseases in human patients today. The very same underlying signals are also being studied for long-term bedridden hospital patients and even for astronauts on extended months-long space missions today. The urea recycling system itself is drawing serious and steadily growing scientific attention for potentially treating serious human kidney failure conditions. A failing human kidney simply cannot clear urea properly at all, no matter what is tried. The bear clears it without ever expelling it from the body at all. The bear that finally walks back out into the fresh spring air is not recovering from anything at all. It is simply awake again and already fully functional. Within just 2 to 3 remarkably short days, it is completely and fully functional once again, hunting, navigating terrain, and socially engaged once more. The very next time you personally struggle to get out of bed after just one single bad night, take a quiet moment to consider what this particular animal just quietly did. That very same bear from back in October, the one that walked slowly and deliberately into that dark, quiet den, is the exact same bear that walks back out again in April. If this genuinely changed how you think about what a body is truly and quietly capable of, subscribe. We keep pulling apart the hidden systems behind the wild, one animal at a time. The wild mind is everywhere around us. Keep looking. I'll see you next time.